As a message, I think The Colour Yellow is a decent episode of The Simpsons, but in terms of being engaging and entertaining, I just didn't care for it that much. But in the episode's defense, that could be my problem because I'm not the biggest fan of the episodes of The Simpsons where they tell a story and we see the story being acted out. Sometimes it's okay. Generally, it's not my favourite choice of narrative device. The Colour Yellow is the 13th episode of the 21st season of The Simpsons, directed by Raymond S. Persi and Mike B. Anderson, and Lisa's class are tasked with investigating their own family trees. And they have to give a report about an ancestor, and Lisa comes across an ancestor called Eliza Simpson, and initially she thinks Eliza was a proud slave owner, but it actually turns out that she might have actually played a part in helping at least one particular slave find freedom. The story itself, I think, is actually well written. It's quite unpredictable, and there are certain things that it would lead us down one path and then it would suddenly switch, and that it kept doing that. I wouldn't go as far as saying there were big twists in the story, but it was setting us up for one direction and then took us down another quite a few times, but in a way that was pleasantly surprising. So the actual narrative I didn't mind, and the messages and Lisa trying to find this ancestor that she's proud of and being proud of this ancestor who might have helped. It's obviously a really good message to say that that's actually an admirable quality to help somebody find freedom rather than, being a proud slave owner, which Lisa had feared was the case. It's not that interesting though. In terms of the actual events, it's kind of boring. And I didn't really think it was that interesting. And Eliza as a character is not that fascinating either. Again, she's not boring. I wouldn't say she's necessarily badly written as a character, but there was nothing about her that made me care about her journey. Obviously, I wanted the best for all of the characters, but I wasn't that interested. I didn't think the characters were engaging enough. So that part of it I didn't really love, but again, I do like the message it was trying to deliver. I think it did a good job of delivering a good message there, but in terms of being engaging, not so much. And if you're not engaging, it means the message isn't going to stick as well as it could do. I mean, obviously the message is pretty clear, but when you're doing this kind of narrative, part of it is to say, yes, this is our stance, we don't support slavery, but also part of it is to try and change people's minds. As Grandpa points out at one point, people of his generation are often very racist. And this episode potentially could help to make people realise that that's not a good way to think. But because it's not engaging, I feel like the message might be lost on some people. But hopefully not. Either way, The Colour Yellow, I think they handled the subject matter well. And I think they tried to do it in a way that was creative and engaging. But I feel like it could have been a lot better and a lot more interesting. So it's not an episode I'd skip if I was binge watching season 21. But at the same time, it's not an episode that I'm going to actually actively seek out or choose to watch.